Anyway, but the second one was interesting in that I don't think you can really change.
Wait, the second what? I lost. I'm sorry. Wait, I lost the thread of this conversation. What game are we talking about? Because it's not
the second Radiator. Second Radiator.
Oh, okay.
You know, you sort of you play a guy who's erasing his memories of his lover. And yeah, why did you do that, Josh? What?
I don't know.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
See,
that's my explanation for almost everything you do.
Without knowing why. Yeah, you solve this puzzle without knowing why, or without having a clear goal, or even knowing which way you're supposed to be heading. You just, like, click on any interactive thing and you just get through it. It's just terrible. Down here, this is actually a secret, I believe. You're supposed to go up, but it feels like the game's pulling you down. Then you get to the bottom. That's what I remember. You get to the bottom and it's just like flares and crap. And I'm like, well, wait, where am I supposed to be going? You're supposed to be going up.
Okay, sure, whatever.
Anyway, you play a guy who's erasing memories of his lover. And it intersperses like little segments of gameplay, which are really simple. You're getting boxes and throwing them in a thing to destroy them, which is, you know, represents your memories, I guess. And it intersperses those with little abstract moments, like where you view something, and you know you can interpret it however you want, and then you move to the next crate retrieval part. And keeping it so that you're always moving forward and making little choices makes the overall arc more significant. And I think you can actually you can actually get a good ending by doing things differently, but it's been a long time.
I want to try it out. I love games like that.
Thermoses?
Okay. It's a free mod, Radiator. You can find mirrors on the source wiki, source developers wiki.
I love junk like that. I'm such a sucker for it. I'm one of those nerds who plays video games. No, I'm one of those people who play video games for the story, because books and TV and movie isn't enough for me.
Yeah, no. I will play a game if I don't like the gameplay, but I like the story, much longer than I'll play a game where I like the gameplay but don't like the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like, okay, I'm enjoying myself, but I kind of feel like my head's curdling. It's like when I play games like Tetris or something. Like there's a 30-minute segment where I'm having fun, and then after that, like, and I'm not like making some sort of elitist statement about Tetris, but because like I do plenty of stuff that's just as brainless as Tetris, but something about the interactivity of it like makes it so I just sort of feel my jaw slackening.
A good example for me is any of the Mass Effect games, because you know, maybe the story isn't great and maybe there's a lot of plot holes and all that junk, but I am really attached to the characters and really attached to my Shepard, so I will go through shitty combat and I will go through repetitious shooting dudes in the face because I want to see what happens next. I want to see how I can help Tali. I want to see how I can save the Geth. Like, those are the things that keep me playing games, like, way longer than I should be.
You know, I'm going to expand it, building off of that. I will keep playing the game if I don't like the gameplay, and I will even keep playing it if I don't like the story, as long as I want to know what happens next.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There was an example of that very recently, where like I wasn't really.
Anyone else just wondering what the fuck the darkness is doing at this point?
I felt like it wasn't even a well-told story, but I really just wanted to know what happened next time. Just let me see if I remember it.
I love that.
Go ahead, Chris.
I just love that Rutskarn says, like, I really only want to like a story if I don't, or I want to know what's going to happen next. And with Alan Wake, we all know what's going to happen next because he wrote it.
Right.
He read it.
That's it. I was going to say exactly the same thing.
Oh, Grand Theft Auto 4. That's what it was. Like, I didn't even think it was a terribly great story. It was fairly well told, but, you know, not something very interesting. But something about, like, how it kept changing made me be like, okay, you know what? I fucking hate this mission structure. I hate this gameplay. But I gotta know, like, what happens with these gangsters.
Agreed. That I did not finish GTA 4, but that kept me playing long after I got sick of the game. I just wanted to know what happened to Nico. Eventually, though, the terrible gameplay, and yes, the gameplay in that game is just awful and unforgivable, especially after playing
thanks for sending dudes at me and then making my camera fly off to watch something fall into the ground. That was very helpful.
It's revenge for all those times you
appreciated
focused
that.
spam, Josh.
Watching this after playing American Nightmare is just really surreal.
Oh yeah?
Boat. Great. I'll make the
it's just-
crisis joke again. Looks like someone had some trouble parking their boat.
The lack of enemy variety here is just crippling this gameplay.
Yes, and the density.
You got the
of them.
fat ones,
They
the
do
fatter
not need-
ones, and the
they
really
don't
fast
need to
ones
be
that don't
this
do
dense.
anything.
Well,
I mean-
they're really this... Go ahead, Seamus.
Yeah, I mean, really, if they cut half of these out, I know you plow through it quicker. And is that the only reason there are so many of them? Is to just slow you down?
Well, in American Nightmare, I love that section, by the way. In American Nightmare, what they do is they have just as much density, and in fact, almost more at times. But there's a really wide assortment of enemy variety, and the core mechanics of combat aren't fixed. These shooting dudes in the face and using your little light beam, that's basically still the same. What they fixed was a greater variety of enemies and a greater variety of attack types and movement types and weaknesses means that you're juggling
What the
enemies constantly.
fuck?
I see. Do headshots in this game matter? I never
No.
got a feeling of like, oh, that was a good shot, man. That really paid off. There was never any visceral payoff when you put someone down. It all
Yeah.
felt the same. As long
And to
as
be
you
fair-
either hit or you don't hit.
And to be fair, the lack of headshots were well communicated by the lack of feedback. I instinctively got that it didn't matter. You could just drill them in the center mass.
So I'm almost 100% certain that this game can't kill you by dropping stuff on you, so why should I even care?
It can't kill you by dropping stuff on you, but it can kill you by you running into barrels.
I guess.
How does that work? And why did you,
What
stop
is the
me getting killed
darkness
by that
even
light,
doing
Josh?
at this point? Because there's nothing else in here, and nothing's damaged me.
I keep
that wasn't
expecting to see hobos by
blackness on the ground.
garbage can fires. You know, like those metal garbage cans that are always on fire. I just
Like in
expect to see
Deus
like
Ex.
a hobo there.
Keep expecting to see Homestar in the
They're
corner.
they're just
cooking a
hanging
cheese over a
out. They don't
fire.
even care. They're just like, what's up?
Okay, show of
Light
hands
up a
here.
grill and
Who
there's the cheese.
in the first Deus Ex wanted to move a flaming barrel, so they turned on myofibril strength and tried to pick it up, and it burned them, and they're like, "Oh wow, I probably should have seen that coming."
Yeah,
That was
happened.
just you.
I
I'm
did
supposed
it.
to go here.
No, I did it too. Oh yeah, this. Oh, I got stuck
Just a-
here for a few minutes too. You're supposed to go upstairs and like cross this thin little thing. That back wall. You're supposed to go out the back wall, and you see how it's a little bit of a jumping puzzle there.
Oh, well,
Like-
evidently this is the wrong back wall.
Yeah, an invisible force field. Thank you so much, Remedy. What the hell, guys?
I'm not sure. No, we're going to the same place here, Seamus. Which back wall is the back wall?
I'm sorry. I should not be trying to give you directions.
Oh, there
while
it is.
I'm because of course I'm saying oh you know right there where you were 5 seconds ago, and that's just confusion. Yeah, you had to go through that building to it's because you couldn't step between those very widely spaced slats. It's just like the game designers forgot what their collision boxes were supposed to mean. Oh, that's a wall, right?
Where is this generator?
You know what really kills the end game here is we actually care about Alan Wake a little bit now. We empathize with him, but we have no answers as to really what the darkness is or what Alan Wake's plan is. So we have a guy we kind of empathize with doing we don't know what to stop we don't know what.
Hey,
Yep.
look, lightning.
And in the interim, all we have to keep us company is combat we were sick of several hours ago, and it really is more of the same.
No,
This
there's
is a
a lot more
grossly
of the same.
overextended finale here.
yeah. That's
game
just
I can't
basically
believe
how I
this is still the
felt playing it
finale.
before. Yep.
I can't believe we're still doing this. Like,
You know,
isn't
full
it time
disclosure,
to go home?
Chris
Go
really
home.
wanted us to keep going last week. He thought we were right at the
Yeah.
end. I'm pretty glad we
I
didn't do that.
swear. I thought we were.
You thought we were about 10 minutes from the end, and I had the same thing because all of this stuff is so forgettable. It's just
Exactly.
like this big generic. Oh, the time wasting, guys. I love this. The darkness is going to waste your time.
I got it.
Exactly, but yes, that's exactly it, James. It's so forgettable.
Like, why isn't this atmospheric intense? Oh, right, because we're just mowing dudes down. And there's no sense of suspense or any doubt as to what's going to happen or what we'll have to face.
Oh, those are the fast guys.
It's almost like this is, I mean, like, and I don't want to, this is an unfavorable comparison, actually, because Doom at least had, like, lots of different weapons and level types.
Yeah.
But it does feel a little bit like the Doom approach at the end here, how it's just the same set pieces stapled together in different configurations.
Yeah. And it's really bad if your gameplay is more one-dimensional than Doom 3.
When it's, well, yeah, the Doom, and when it's ultimately not doing anything that Doom didn't, yeah.
Well, Doom had a ton of different enemies. I mean, fighting a combination of pinky demons and imps or shotgun guys, you could really mix it up with those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, yeah, that's actually a better comparison than Doom 3, because, you know, Doom 3 was the same 3 corridors over and over.
Turn back now.
And just a couple of monster types. There wasn't a big variety there.
What, are you magnets now?
It's actually not a bad
This is
comparison.
magnetic wood.
Comparing this game to Doom 3 actually is not a bad comparison.
Which is a shame because, I mean, tonally, they're so different games, but... Or they should
But
be.
Doom 3's tone arguably works a lot better for it.
Yeah.
It has, like, sort of a dark, suspenseful thing going, and to be fair, it is pretty suspenseful because, you know, enemies can come out of nowhere.
Those first couple of... That first chapter of Doom, after everything goes crazy and...
You know, Darkness, your aim is pretty bad with those things.
That had some tension there at the beginning of Doom 3. I remember having some nervous, like, ooh, this is pretty tense stuff. More so than this game. This game just never could build any kind of emotional reaction. Couldn't elicit any kind of emotional reaction. Here we go.
Alice never loved you. Well, I'm sure about that.
Since you put it like that, I guess I should just go pout, right?
Yeah. Well, I give up. She never loved me. I guess I don't have to save her at the end.
Darkness is like a forum troll now.
So here's the thought. Really, the darkness should really be about Alan overcoming the way he let his wife down, and you know, her abduction is sort of symbolic of his emotionally leaving her, and he's right now fighting to get her back, and also fighting to be a better person. Why are the DLC
go?
Well, I mean, it kind of is metaphorically. It's an allegory for that, but then why is the DLC and American Nightmare all about that in a very more direct metaphor with Mr. Scratch?
Oh, hey, look, that was a jump. There was a jump there.
Because they got
well, I believe you said, Chris, that Mr. Scratch represents the game, and American Nightmare represents the game finding its voice a little bit.
Oh yes, God, yes. It's still got serious problems, but it is.
Oh, look, the infinite flare gun thing.
I think that should be part of the drinking game, is you know what does it better, but Catherine does it better, because Catherine, he has a problem with commitment. He has a problem with his girlfriend, and the nightmares that he goes through are directly connected to some chick trying to eat him. Like, it's a very visual...
That's a pretty good
eyebrows
summarizing of Catherine.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and it is a little bit more thoughtful on the relationship between guys and girls, at least in Japan, and what the duties are of a man and all that jazz. And this doesn't even try. Like, this could be about Barry being lost in the woods and Alan has to go save him, and it wouldn't make a fucking lick of difference.
That's a really good point.
You will fail.
Yeah, you could easily say the game is about their friendship as much as it is about him or his thing with Alice. There's a bunch of elements here and none of them.
I remember there being like this not making any sense.
It doesn't.
Okay, here's the thing. Everybody, try to come up with one adjective to describe Alice's character. We'll start with Seamus, move on through the cast in default order. Like, just rack your brains. Come up with some adjective.
Underwear. Oh shit, that's a noun. Alright, underpants?
Exactly. There's no real defining characteristics of Alice. She's
There aren't
pretty
any
much
defining. At
default.
first
She's
she
a
seems a
girl.
little overbearing, and then yeah, female. And then you realize, oh wait, actually, she's actually pretty long-suffering, considering. Yeah, drop that, Alan. Just drop that weapon. I'm sure you won't need it. There's no reason to suspect you'll need it ever again. No reason to bring it with you.
Hey, I've got an idea. Remember how we screwed up the first time and jumped into the water? Let's do that again!
But we have an unplugged light switch. That'll save us.
Again with
Yeah.
Alan Wake's stupid jumps.
Swan dive.
Wasn't even a swan dive.
Belly
belly
flop.
flop.
I know fucking anything about how you fall off of high cliffs onto bodies of. I guess maybe probably don't. Most people don't know too much about that.
You were having a bad
Hey, look, I
Pro
went
tip,
to bed
guys.
in my tweed
Point the
jacket.
toes, remain vertical, point the toes, cup hands over groin. That's how you do it. No, that's seriously how you do it.
Alice, what have you done with our blankets? Why is there no bedding on our bed? This is so wrong. You've taken all our bedding.
Shh, baby. The power's
It's
out.
You've been wearing that underwear for over a week. Gross.
I'll make you forget all about your
There needs to be like a trope name for this narrative where the female is both the driving motivation for the male protagonist and serves as basically a MacGuffin, but is also sort of the relationship is the basis of the game. Sort of like Human Revolution also had this problem, where
Oh, that is interesting.
You want me to call Dr. Hartman?
we have a
But
female.
the woman is also completely flavorless.
I read
Well,
Yeah.
she's only in there for 5 minutes. I mean, that's part of the thing. To serve as a MacGuffin, she needs to disappear or die, and you know that you only have 5 minutes of gameplay to introduce her before you got to
That's-
start shooting dudes.
That's a really good point. There is that sort of, why are you doing this?
Ow.
Oh, well, girl. There's girl.
Hey guys, remember those game mechanics that we've been working on the whole game? Turns out we're not even fucking using those anymore. We're using something entirely different, where you make words appear into like objects with your flashlight. That's how we're gonna finish.
Zane's
You turned your
fat.
girlfriend. You turned your girlfriend into Zane. I'll bet you're really disappointed.
And
So,
then Zane
where
takes
do
off
I-
his diver's helmet
Never
and it's
mind.
Barry inside.
And I'm like, of course, this is how the story makes sense. And then
He looked like half of a
I would've-
disco ball.
I would have applauded that.
Hey, it's Mr. Scratch, even though we don't know it yet. Oh, now we
Okay, so apparently Thomas Zane created Mr. Scratch. I would love to know why. Is he just a massive
Look at
dick?
his
He's like,
fucking face!
in the
Alan
process
Wake
of
has
making
the
this
shit-eating his grin.
in the process of making this savior that will solve this darkness problem, I think I'm also just gonna invent this horrible serial killer for no reason. Thanks so much, Zane. Jerk.
It's Zane floating around, by the way, in the
Bird.
water is so fucking adorable to me. He
Yes.
looks like it's just like
Oh, check it out, Rutskarn! I found a coffee thermos. I made a coffee thermos!
You have
life
the power
is
to
great.
create. Just stay here and just create thermos after thermos. And Thomas
Ooh,
Zane's like, you
damn,
must
that
go
wasn't
and
the
stop
phone
the
I wanted.
darkness.
I was kind of
you're
hoping
like,
for
no.
TARDIS.
You're like, no, I'm good. And you just make one thermos after another using your power.
I found my paradise.
So this is supposed to show like how, as a writer, you can create things. All right.
It doesn't,
I don't-
actually.
It doesn't. I mean, that's how I interpreted this.
It does,
Oh,
but
oh.
in later DLC they sort of retcon it and say, you know, this is how he does it from inside the darkness, but then there are other rules outside of the
Shoebox.
Cauldron Lake, and it's...
Yeah!
Alice? No, what do you say?
Shoebox,
I don't want to conjure
shoebox,
a bridge.
shoebox alive.
All you do is torture yourself with work you can't do anymore.
Yeah, that's your problem, Alan Wake. You don't love yourself enough.
You're my muse!
Bold. Make another bold.
What have you done with my Alice?
So now we're getting all art game, and I guess that's a change of pace, but this isn't really working.
He doesn't deserve it. Alan Wake doesn't deserve an art game, okay? It does. Art game, no.
Tom, let me go. I promise to be good.
Hey, Crate and Barrel.
this literally turning words into things is, I think, hitting us over the head with this idea that we kind of got a long time ago, and it just feels like another gate. It just feels like another door. Nothing's being.
On that note-
If
So
he was
why does
revealing
Thomas
something
Zane
to
have
us-
Alan Wake's voice? All of a sudden.
So tangent, Chris. Did you know that Valve's office is right down the street from a Crate and Barrel?
I did not.
What?
Your heart is filled with darkness. Heart of Darkness. It's a book. Go read it.
Let's put the clicker in it, and then we'll turn
See,
it
it's
on.
funny because their games are full of crates and barrels.
Rats, no one cared about the thing that you just said.
Yeah, you
So
certainly
here's-
look older than me.
much older than you, I'm old enough for a senior citizen discount.
Don't
So
stop
it's
me
funny
from putting this in
because
your heart or
Valve has
anything.
lots
That's
of crates
cool.
and barrels in their games.
Why don't you just let me
Break
win?
me free. I want to give you a hug. I'm
A
hugging
light hug.
sadness out
The
of
best
you.
kind of fun.
Yeah, I love
Did
hugs.
For the
Say what you
last
want about
5 minutes.
Phantasmagoria, at least it was weird enough to be interesting.
Again, that ending could have worked if there was if we had an emotion carrying us there. That could have been fine.
But most
You
of
go,
that
you
emotion
use
has
the
been
clicker.
drained away by
Yeah.
the last hour of combat.
And even the clicker
Most of
itself
that
wasn't
emotion was
really
never there to
meaningful
begin
to us. Yeah, it wasn't like we.
Yeah,
saw
the clicker was,
and
hey, I got
"Oh
a
my
MacGuffin!
gosh."
I
Yeah,
conjured
it
a
wasn't-
MacGuffin up!
It wasn't like it was a meaningful object to us.
Now I'm allowed
or that
to
it was
win
a
the
missing
game.
Puzzle
I knew
piece.
how to write the ending to Departure. There's light and there's darkness. Cause and effect. There's
I know
guilt
how
and
to
there's
write the
atonement.
ending to Departure.
But the scales
And
always
then,
need to balance. Everything has a price. That's
Alice
where
was
Zane
gone
got wrong.
forever, and all Alan could do was comfort himself
There's a long
with his
journey through the night
quartet
back to the light.
of super hot supermodels.
I must defeat the evil serial killing shadow creatures.
And then,
Alan
and then,
screamed.
and then that
No,
goes
Alan,
wrong,
you are
and
the
all
evil
the
serial
supermodels are
murdering
just
shadow
very-
creature. And then Alan was Mr. Scratch. The end.
She did.
How many
Oh,
fucking
no.
times are we going to do this?
Swan dive.
Into the
Chapter
night of your
1.
life.
I see. I mean, technically, I guess yeah, that was we'd already done that earlier, but still, we fall into water a lot.
Okay, that's
Okay,
strobing.
I'm having an
is not
epileptic seizure.
really. Yeah.
Someone turned Zane's helmet off. Jesus Christ.
You're wasting all the power.
He's turning it off and on. Does this bug you? Does this bug you?
We did not put that light switch there for the light switch raid party.
What is going on with that swim animation?
I don't know. Kind of looks like it kind of looks like a sophomore project in a 3D animation school.
And then she died of pneumonia. Hypothermia.
So this is what
Not
I
enough
call
bump magic
this
for
is
my
time
taste.
to cry music. It's a very specific kind of music used in video games and movies and television shows that tells you that now
But
it's
not
time
bump.
to cry. But I'm not.
This
going
is
to
the.
cry.
Now you are having the big emotional moment. You know.
This is all the feels. These are all of the feels.
How can I live without you? I want to know.
So that was the thing that happened. Alan went in, and then for some reason he rode himself into the bottom of the lake, but he saved his wife, and now Mr. Scratch is lost. I gotta say, between him and Zane, these two idiots managed to screw up quite a bit, considering the power they supposedly wield. I think, I know that what they went through was bad, but I like to think that in their position, I could do a lot better.
I can't help but think that this was just. I mean, it is.
Pooping
It's the
confetti
first.
on it.
Yay! It's the first half of a story because this entire 7-hour experience is titled Departure, and then you have the
So
two DLC
apparently, all the
episodes, and then
people we
Return.
killed are totally fine, I guess.
Boo!
Stucky.
Oh, it's those two awesome old dudes. Fucking rock on.
Yeah, and then they begin square dancing for no reason.
And now
oh,
Rose
but
is
the
the light lady.
darkness. Really? That's how you interpreted it?
Nightingale. Oh man.
What other way is there?
I interpreted that as Rose was just crazy bananas. But I suppose, yeah, her being the light lady, yeah, it does make sense.
She loved the guy who, she loved the guy who fell into the lake. It repeats itself.
Nice.
What? That was the worst ending I could have imagined for this game.
When is the music gonna start playing?
Not only did that not answer anything, they didn't address anything. They didn't create anything. They didn't do anything. That was no better than just cutting to the credits. In fact, it would have saved us those last combats.
It got us a lady in a wet t-shirt on the beach.
I think all of that could have worked if we had. It could have been this mysterious. Oh, whoa! It completes the circle and everything. It could have totally worked if we had a emotional connection to these people. You know how somebody will be like, they'll take an existing movie trailer and recut it, like they make The Shining look like a comedy. You know, you could make something look like something completely allspice, recutting it. That's this game. If you had recut this game, you could have made a way different game without having to make more stuff.
4 moderators and beta testers. Apparently there are 3 of them, and they fill both roles. It's a good QA team you guys got there. Yeah.
That explains a lot.
So,
wait, Sam Lake wrote the story?
Of course Sam Lake wrote the story. He's the lead writer of Remedy. There are some good ideas in this game, but it doesn't come together to form a coherent whole that means anything. I mean, what is the message of this game? I mean, it kind of wants, like, is it a parody? Is it a horror story? Is it a thriller? Is it a send-up? I mean, it kind of wants to be about the creative process, I guess, of writing something and making something good, but like with all that like stuff about, it has to follow its own internal logic and make sense, but the game itself doesn't even really do that.
Yeah, I know.
And it gives us all these like random plot threads that never amount to anything.
I was very disappointed with this game.
I was disappointed because I can see the game this could have been. I love some of these ideas, and I wanted to play the game. Like, really, think about how much more interesting this would have been if Alan Wake had kept his yap shut and hadn't narrated all that stuff. If the combat hadn't sucked the joy out of it, and if we had had that emotional connection to Alan Wake and the stakes way earlier, I think it would have really changed our perception of everything.
If the beginning of Chapter 6 had been the beginning of the game and not the beginning of the last chapter.
That's a good point. I think a lot of the people defending this game are defending it from a retrospective point of view. They're defending it from, when you look at it backwards, you could see all of these elements that work and maybe could make an interesting story. Although, frankly, it could really be tied together better, and it's weak in a lot of areas. But, I mean, yeah, okay, there's some good elements there, but they're put together all wrong.
I'd agree with that. I really agree with Seamus. I think, and that's why I think when we started this season, The only two people that were really not completely repulsed by it were me and Josh, who were the ones who had beaten the game and could see those good ideas coming 7 hours down the road, and you guys were all hating on it. And then I think slowly we've all come to agree that the combat sucks.
Oh well, I always thought the combat
just like
sucked.
the game now, Chris? Don't you just like the game a little bit more now?
This is really just
sit
all
well with
mumbles
you.
once from this season.
I am
will
totally
concede-
fine with this game because it has great taste in music, save 1 or 2 songs. I am not complaining.
I will concede that. I mean, really, my opinion is that of Seamus's. I think that there's some really great ideas, and if you completely recut the story, cut out a bunch of the filler, and then maybe put in American Nightmare's combat mechanics, you would have a great game. And instead, you have a really flawed, brutal to play through game that has some really cool ideas that I think are worth noting, but not necessarily worth playing for.
I agree with you agreeing with me.
I agree with Seamus agreeing with Chris agreeing with Seamus.
I agree with Chris. I don't agree with Seamus, but I agree with Rustgarden.
You can't do. Oh, you're gonna.
I don't agree with that.
Explode.
I really don't agree.
agree with pizza.
I want to say again, I really respected Remedy trying something different. They didn't just like, oh, well, we don't have the Max Payne license. Let's just go and we'll make Max Discomfort, and he's an action hero based on John Woo movies. But he's a blonde guy, and he's in, Chicago instead of New York. And just trying to retread what they've already done.
Congratulations, Remedy. You did not do Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah. Exactly. They could have done the Duke Nukem Forever. There were so many mistakes that they didn't make, and they made the mistake that almost nobody makes these days, which is to try something new and not have it pan out. That's actually an admirable mistake, is to fail trying something new.
Which is why we all kind of liked EA there for like 2 or 3 years when they were doing like Mirror's Edge and games like that.
Yeah, and now they're like what, the most hated company in America? Was that it?
They're kind of getting there. Yeah. They were voted the worst business or the worst like corporation in America or something like that.
Man, I've probably spent
above
more
Bank of
time
America.
I've spent more time hating on them than almost anybody that's gonna watch this video, and even I can't agree with them being the worst company in America. There's a lot of really people out there.
For all of our viewers,
fairly
I know we have a lot of them that don't live in America. The Bank of America is the most slimy bank you could possibly ask for.
At the end of the day, it's just video games. I mean, no matter how badly they screw this up, the worst that they're doing is denying us great video games and making life miserable for a lot of developers. Okay, that really sucks, but that's nothing compared to what you can do if you are a bank or an agribusiness company or
a diamond
something
merchant.
else. Yeah.
Or BP.
Yeah, but the people who answered those polls are like how people would rather hear about celebrity trash than what's happening in the stock market.
That's
so
exactly
they're the same people who
I don't think
voted
it's
like
really
Oprah
fair.
Winfrey the best person in the past 100 years or something.
Right.
I mean, no offense to Oprah Winfrey. She's done a lot of good in the
made
world.
it so people could eat. What about that guy?
Yeah.
What about fucking Norman Borlaug?
I don't have a problem with people trying new things, and I think that's why I'm not forgiving of Alan Wake, but I don't hope it doesn't exist. I wouldn't go in my DeLorean and wipe it from
Wait,
from I think if anything it makes people feel like
Wait.
I think I've already time jumped plenty of times, don't worry about it. But this is not the original reality. It's the third reality. So if you're craving chocolate milk, there might be something going on. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry.
I'll put it this way: if they come out with yet another game, they come out with a whole new license, I'm gonna check it out and hope that they, kind of pull their act together, got themselves a little more QA, a little more game test. This game is not buggy. It didn't need QA testing, but it did sort of need audience testing. Just don't do everything the test audiences say to do, but look for very obvious problems, because it's very hard to judge your story when you know everything, when you know what all the characters want and what they want to do, but you don't always communicate all those little details to the audience, and so they're missing those pieces, and they can let you know that.
I tend to agree with Mumbles. Now, I don't have a time travel DeLorean, but even if I did, I wouldn't actually go back and Mumbles? Why is my hand disappearing?
Oh, nothing. Oh, and if your parents...
Guys, I think I can't actually hold down the button any longer because my...
Yeah, I wouldn't
They've turned
erase
into
Max
Squiggly
Payne 5
Wiggly.
from history. I think we really enjoyed this game. It's a good thing they didn't
I hope
sell
you're
the
all
Max Payne
enjoying
license to
Half-Life
anybody
3.
else.
Oh, wait, no, I left that from existence.
Wait a minute.
too.
Wait a minute.
You're doing-
About the Matrix sequels.
Instead of going back and doing nice things for people, I go back in time and do mean things.
If you include all of the DLC and the expansion, it actually is not a bad story. It's just that someone needs to teach Sam Lake about something called pacing and structure.
That's kind of a bad thing.
Although
to
he didn't
teach
have that
an
problem,
experienced lead writer.
he did great with the pacing and structure of Max Payne 1, I thought. I mean, that might be nostalgia glasses. I mean, obviously that game is from a much earlier era and was incredible for its day. Maybe it wouldn't hold up as well today, but I didn't think it had major problems.
Well, then maybe I guess he just isn't skilled enough to handle a narrative told completely out of chronology and across multiple DLCs and...
Yeah, and I agree with you, and that's what I'd tell Sam Lake if I ever met him in real life. And if I wasn't afraid that he'd backflip backwards in slow motion and shoot my face.
Yeah, that would be foremost in my mind.
Well, anyway,
Okay.
tune in next couple weeks from now where we'll be starting our new season, Echo Bazaar.
Yeah, what? No!
Yay.
Oh, did we switch to Ticket to Ride?